Hi guys, this is Paul, just a really short tutorial to show you something interesting in Elementor. Imagine if you have a heading here and you want to change some of the properties. You want to make it bigger or a different font size. We know we can do that by changing the HTML tag, or you can go over to style and actually play with the typography. But what if you only want one of the words in that heading to change? So let's say the middle word heading. If I double click on it, I get some options, so I can just make that word underlined. But that's not what I'm looking for. I want that to be bigger. I want it to be a different font, different font family or something like that. How do I do it? So the way you do that is we need to isolate it first, and we're going to do the whole thing with code. So if you're familiar with CSS, then you'll understand what's going on. If not, I'm going to take you through the code and I'll put it down in the description as well. So let's go to the start of the word that we want to isolate, and we're going to put it between two span tags. And a span tag doesn't really do anything to it in this situation. It just isolates it. So we type in angle bracket span and then close the angle bracket. And then right after the word that we're looking for, we type the same thing, but this time we do a / after the first angle bracket, and then we close it. So nothing appears to have changed, but what we have done is we've isolated that word heading by putting it between two span tags. Now, in order to make the word heading look different, we need to apply a class to this span tag, or apply a class to that word. So go back to that first span that you wrote and do a space after span, and then type class equals and then a speech mark. So now which class do we want to add to it? If it's one we haven't defined before, let's define a new one. Let's call this huge and then close the speech marks. So now it's trying to apply the class huge to this word or to this span tag, but we haven't defined what huge means anywhere. So let's go and define what that means. If I click on advanced and scroll down to the bottom, so in the pro version you have custom CSS, and we're just going to write normal CSS. So in order to define a class, you type in dot and then the name of the class you're defining. You open up a curly bracket, hit enter, and then it gives you a closing curly bracket, which is nice. And then you just type in the attributes or the style here. So if I type in font -size : 50 pixels, that's just standard CSS. And now what it's done is it's made the huge class, it's given it the property of font size is 50 pixels. And straight away you can see that just that one word, which was isolated between those span tags, now has the class of huge applied to it. So in CSS, you can add more things to this one class. So after my semicolon that was added for me, if I hit enter, I can also put font-family : and let's just do career. There you go. So now it's also applied the different font family as well. So this class of huge is now ready to be used elsewhere. So imagine if I wanted to apply that same class, just the word very, in this little paragraph. You'd expect that what I would do is I would just come over here and start typing in span, class huge, and things like that. But it doesn't quite work. What you're going to need to do is to switch over to the text version. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing, but just in the text version of this text editor. So here we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to do angle bracket span, close that angle bracket. And then after the word very, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to put a / before the word span. So now what we've done is, again, we've isolated the word very, and now we just need to apply the class to it. So after the letter N of the first span, you do space class equals, and then it was huge, and then close the speech marks. And there we go, we've just applied that class again to this particular word, and then you can switch back to the visual version if you're making any other edits. So that's how you would do it in the pro version. If you don't have the pro version, then it means you don't have access to the advanced tab and where it says custom CSS. So you have to do it a slightly different way, but that's absolutely fine. What you're going to need to do is come over to your dashboard, and then on the left hand side where it says appearance, you're going to come to customize. And when you click on customize, you've got different options that you can use. So what you do is you come down to additional CSS, and you're just going to do it in this little section here. So what you would have to do is just type in .huge, open up your curly brackets, and just put in, I think it was font size 50 pixels. And then there you go, you're defining that class, and it means that that will apply in the same place that it would have done in the pro version. And that's it. Any questions or comments, just leave them down below. Thanks for watching.